This has been a long time coming, but no longer! Welcome online, guys. TomoGotchi here. Well, this is a topic I've wanted to talk about for months on end. It's a never-ending discussion that has still been debated over and over, and it still goes on. Still it happens on servers, and it's still never been resolved in any way, shape or form. But that's why I am here. With this video I intend on shedding some bigger light on the subject. Hopefully this will help more people understand the problem, and maybe, just maybe, we can put an end to this altogether. This may apply to all MMOs or online games in general, but this one is entirely focused on Digimon Masters Online since that's the one I'm mostly exposed to. So the subject of this video is simple: botting. Now before we get into this big issue with the game, first let me explain exactly what a bot is. Here's my simple definition. A bot is a program that users use in order to autopilot, or to be more specific, a bot is a program that requires users to input certain commands into the system. Once commands are set, the bot will work with those commands and continuously follow them over and over again, not requiring further input from the user. Its main function is to allow users to grind their characters, or Digimon in this case, without the users doing it themselves. Rather, the bot does all the work. It works like this. The bot is open to commands. The user then inputs the command to attack the nearest enemy within range. Use a specific pattern of attacks until the enemy dies, then pick up any items the enemy might have dropped, and then use recovery items to replenish HP. Once these commands are set, the bot will then follow these commands and continuously repeats them until either the bot is turned off or the user dies. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that sounds awesome, right? The ability to level grind and grind for items without actually needing to work or even be there? Where can I find such a device? Well, I can tell you, the problem is I don't want to. And that's what I want to discuss here today. Whilst it may seem like a great idea, the truth is, and this is the honest truth, and the reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place, botting, at least in Digimon Masters Online, is illegal. And here I am to fully explain why. Let's start with the basic information and work our way up. On face value, it's essentially a tool that helps the player cheat! Cheating is a grey area for any video game, but for a game that involves an online community like Digimon Masters Online, where players coexist, can cause a lot of problems. See, when there is botting going on a server, it's blocking level grinding hotspots. This is basically an issue of not being able to find a place to kill enemies because of the amount of people using the area, which is fully covered, and there aren't enough channels to go around. Now this can be an issue regardless of botting since there are several people online anyway, but at least those people are actually online playing the game. Now these spots are taken up by people who aren't active, aren't speaking, helping or sharing spots, or partying with other players. Inactive, lifeless, third-party programs that only serve to satisfy the user of that bot. That's right, it's third-party developed software. Both JoyMax and GameKing have mentioned numerous times that botting is against their terms and conditions, and using such third-party developed software is branded illegal and can get people banned. Sadly, back when JoyMax had the game, little to no action was done against botting. The game is currently in the hands of GameKing, and they have implemented the use of a hack shield similar to the Korean version of the game. When the game was being transferred to GameKing, I posted a Facebook post about the botting problem. This then escalated into an entire war with people going back and forth about why botting is good or bad. Many of which point out that the game would be empty without them, which is completely ridiculous, and that they fuel the economy by doing so, which is also ridiculous. Now there were one or two that gave a very reasonable argument, but it's really surprising to see just how far the debate has gotten, when my original comment was meant to ask GameKing directly so I can get their word. After this, I actually contacted GameKing directly through their Q&A section, and they thus confirmed that botting is a major concern of theirs as well. Thus confirming, of course, that botting isn't allowed, and blowing the entire discussion in the previous war out into the open. To me, if the people running the game confirms it as illegal, to me I have to take their side by default, because why argue with the people who brought us the game in the first place? Oh, but that's not even the worst part. apart. The most common botters I've seen are those using what is called a PSC bot. This is the main page of their website, and upon viewing it for the first time, immediately raised a red flag and truly highlights my point when it comes to being against botting. Yeah, to all those who keep defending the use of bots should really look at the people providing the service. When this is the logo for your website, it's hard for me to give you any credibility and instead acts as a reminder to what botting truly is. Well, at least they don't cover it up. This is exactly what botters are bringing to the game. Upon reading their Q&A, it's even more apparent, since this sentence right here outright demands its users to keep a low profile and acknowledges the illegal acts it's taking. And upon a recent patch announcement for the game, they announced that they can't be sure it will work until it understands the behavior of the hack shield the game is providing to stop illegal programs. That to me only highlights my point further. They're literally saying that they are trying to get around a hack shield. All that is enough to declare that PSC bots have no consideration for the game at all, and instead it encourages the behavior continuously. And then I found out the true nature of it all. And here it is for the world to see. This bot works on a paid system. So to even bot in the first place, you have to pay with real money in order to convert it to its own currency to buy botting time. Creating an illegal program to hack a game is bad enough to start with, but profiting from it, making money from an illegal program the game has clearly mentioned as illegal, this can grant you a court case, never mind a ban from servers. This is a flat out crime. And yet, people buy into it, saying that without bots the prices of certain items will go up and money isn't as accessible, which I refuse to believe in, and if anything I think the prices have instead gone up because of botting when money can easily be made through botting. You seriously telling me I can buy a burst mode item for 6 terabytes and unlock a really powerful Digimon, but the Pokemon book, which requires me to use a spirit item to unlock a spirit Digimon that is basically weak to every type, is 10 tera? And the price for a burst mode item and spirit books are the exact same in the cash shop? Seriously? Another excuse I often hear is people simply not wanting to waste time playing the game. And this is where I have to disagree the most. Listen, I understand that leveling in an MMO can be a tedious task, and I understand that people simply do not have the time to waste on that grinding. But honestly, if you don't have the time to put in that effort, why are you even playing at all? What is the satisfaction out of botting? After hours later, your Digimon finally reaches level 99, what do you get after that? The truth is, you're essentially using an illegal program to not play the game. And that's what it is by the end of the day. A game. Enjoyment. Pleasurable activity. Meant to take you away from stress. When you program your bot specifically to get away from the game, it destroys the whole point of logging in the first place. Even worse is these bots completely demean those who choose not to bot. Yes, the people who are actually putting time into the game, those who are actually logged in to grind and play through dungeons, the way the game was intended to work. I don't think botters should ever have the right to badmouth people who choose not to. If you set up an illegal program to level grind for you without even being there, what right do they have to slander, insult, and even threaten people who actually put time and effort into the game? Yes, let me repeat that for 1 second. The people who are actually playing the game legally and without the use of third-party programs are getting badmouthed, ridiculed, and even threatened by those who bot. This is the equivalent of someone being an underground drug lord, but instead of understanding that selling drugs is illegal, they instead laugh in the faces of anyone who has a low-paid job. They may be earning minimum wage, but at least they're obeying the law. The raising of prices, blocking areas, refusing to respond to others, slandering people who just want to play the game, that's just the tip of the botting iceberg. See, let me elaborate. A player can grind on a spot and then a bot can just show up out of nowhere, turn the bot on and prevent the player from attacking any more Digimon because the bot was programmed in such a way to attack first before the Digimon even spawns. Here is just one example that I myself went through. The guy did it deliberately and laughed in my face. You're telling me this isn't harmful? And even when I moved to another spot, he left immediately to do it to someone else. To those who say botting helps the game is sadly mistaken. This is an act of harm to a player, effectively punishing those who have the strength to actually play the game. And nothing is sacred to these botters at all. The botter you are seeing now with the Zuchaomon is already blocking the server with its botting ways. But then this player shows up with a Black Wall Greymon and then proceeds to use his bot in order to get one over on the other bot and overcome him. So basically bots even screw over other bots. Kinda contradictory to what was being said about bots improving the game. They can't even stay away from each other. Also, minor nitpick, and I've never seen it done outright, but since they are attacking Digimon when they spawn and glitches them into the ground, what is stopping them from leaving? They can just leave the Digimon and no one would be able to click them, causing a server maintenance to fix the problem. I know, I've never seen it actually happen, but it is a thought. And all this talk about botting fueling the economy, there certainly isn't a lot of balance for players, is there? Like I said earlier, prices don't go down because of botting, they go up. Because of the nature of botting, bots earn massive amounts of cash to be able to buy items, leaving the people who don't bot to be the last in the bidding war because they haven't grinded for hours, thus having to resort to paying with real money to get the better items and not by the in-game shops. Personally, I don't mind paying with cash for the newest Digimon from time to time. It's actually one of the few free games that have microtransactions that are actually fair and reasonable and don't outright force you to do so on a whim. But my point is, to claim that botters encourage more economic growth is only referring to them, not to the player base as a whole. And it's those lesser beings that have to take a back seat to all this. So, with all this said and with all my ranting aside, what have we learned today? Not only is botting illegal, it's bad for the game. It's bad to the servers, it's bad to other players, it's bad to the general mechanics of the battle system, it's even bad for the very botters who defend this practice. And the funny part is, they are fully aware of what they're doing and outright revel in the fact that little to no action has been taken against them. One argument that I often hear is that everyone bots, that 90% of the game is nothing but botters. This is purely an exaggeration and it's not backed up by actual evidence. Even so, it does not account for the whole community and should not be taken seriously. And to the thousands of comments I'm probably going to get from botters justifying their actions and saying I'm an idiot for saying botting is bad, I'll be quite honest, I've gotten a lot of bad rep in-game for being against botting, and to be quite honest, I don't care. Whether you like it or not, whether you'll be punished for it or not, doesn't change the fact that botting is illegal and harmful to the game. We as players have the right to go to Game King and report any suspicious behaviour. That is something that is encouraged and is encouraged to ensure a gaming environment that is safe and fair to all players. And how dare you slander anyone who is trying to enjoy the game and is only reporting you for taking the fun out of it by using illegal tactics to level up. That is shameful. And it boggles my mind too that whenever someone brings up the subject of botting on any social media, it's met with hate. Why is that? Since when is it a noob thing to not want to resort to third-party software? And more to the point, how is slandering people who don't bot helping your community? And the truth is, Game King has confirmed that botting is illegal. And wouldn't you know it, whilst making this video, Game King actually did something about the botting problem. In late February in 2016, Game King released an update giving players a new item that allows them to fight back against botting. Oh, how nice! Players can now buy an item at almost any in-game shop for a low price. If a player finds another player who they suspect is a bot, they can use this item on them while they're in combat. The player then has to respond to a very easy puzzle to confirm that they are active in-game, and failure to respond to this results in them getting kicked from the server for a length of time. Not only that, but kicking a bot rewards the player who reported it with a temporary EXP boost, as well as an EXP boost to a player who responds to the puzzle correctly, basically rewarding those for not only staying in game, but contributing to the elimination of bots. That is awesome! And to top it all off, the shady bot programmers of PSC have recognized this effort by Game King and forewarned its users to the new system, even announcing that this could very well mean the end of PSC if they can't figure out a way to bypass it. And I have to admit, I'm enjoying every moment. Only yesterday, people were lashing back and forth about botting being good for the game they love, but one word from Game King, one system put in place to put them in their place, and they just run to the bushes and hide. Now, the system isn't 100% perfect. I'm sure there's a way to abuse the system somehow, and no doubt botters will find a way around it eventually, but it does show this much. Imperfect as it may be, this effort by Game King proves once and for all that botting is illegal and they will find a way to fight back. So everything I talked about in this video are now 100% confirmed. You can argue with me as much as you want, but you can't argue to Game King, can you? You have no right to go against their terms of service, since they are the ones providing you with the game, and whilst under their roof, you have to listen to their rules, and going against those rules can get you banned from the game. The only way you can bot in the first place is by seeking it out, and in the case of PSC, it requires login information and your credit card. Do not convince me for a single second that there isn't intent. You install the bot, you risk getting banned, and you have only yourself to blame and not the community trying to make it stop. Phew, I gotta calm down now, so that's enough of my ranting. So I'm gonna go to bed now and shut the computer down because heck, I don't feel like programming a bot to have it make this video. So I hope this video shed some light on the subject and helped, and even if it didn't, hope you found it entertaining. And until next time guys, take care, I'll see you next time. Click click.